and welcome everybody to episode number 102 of the Millennial Gaming Speak podcast for the week of July 24th, 23rd, whatever. I don't know, whatever you want to consider the start of the week, Sunday or Monday. I usually consider it Sunday, but some people consider it Monday.
I do too.
Sunday's the start of the week for me, even though it's the week end. Anyway. I am your host, Logan Moore. With me this week, not Max. Max is gone. Scheduling conflicts this week prevented us from recording together. And so it was either get a show out or not get a show out. And I called up Michael Ruiz, who was with us today, so that we could get a show out. And Michael's here.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Dude, I am okay. I got off work early today. I guess I kind of left work early today because I didn't have anything to do at work. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to leave so that I'm not sitting out here. So
for sure, man.
What have you been doing?
On a real level, I know this is a gaming podcast, but yeah, I've been I've been playing a ton of games, dude, the past couple days.
I thought you were going to say watching anime or something like that.
Oh, no. I've been watching a lot of wrestling because, there's the G1... whatever it's called, Climax.
Yeah.
27 for New Japan, and then Battleground was this week, which was horrible. Awful.
Was it awful? Really?
It was pretty bad.
I haven't watched it yet. And
the first match, right, the tag team championships, great, amazing. I heard that was a really good match. The women's one was okay, and then after that, it just goes downhill. And I
saw what happened with the Punjabi prison match. And so my phone buzzed and it was like, and because I get those WWE alerts, and it was like the Great Khali returns and puts Randy Orton in a chokehold and Jinder Mahal wins. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And then when I finally watched it, I was like, that was kind of lame. That was pretty stupid. I wanted Khali to come out there and chop Randy Orton and his head explode and he's bleeding all over the place, and instead he just choked him for a solid 90 seconds.
It was a 4-on-1, so it was just ridiculous, dude. I didn't like it. And then the matches even before that, what was it, Sami Zayn versus whatever that guy's name is with the woman that they just came back.
Yeah. Kanellis.
Maria
Kanellis and then
Mike Kanellis.
Mike Kanellis. Yeah.
I love Sami Zayn, but stop giving him garbage all the time because he only gets garbage matches.
Dude, I hate Sami Zayn. That's my thing.
He's such a good wrestler, though.
He is a good wrestler, but I hate his gimmick. His gimmick sucks. He's just a big old smiley dude who comes down comes down to the ring and has a seizure on his way down. He just looks stupid. I hate his gimmick.
That's how I feel about Baron Corbin too. Is that Baron Corbin I think is a good wrestler. Mm-hmm. I don't like his gimmick at all, just yelling it just yells at everybody. I'm the lone wolf and I do things by myself, and then I have a really cool finisher, the deep six, and that's it.
Yeah, Corbin's a good wrestler, dude. He really is. There's a couple guys this is what sucks about wrestling now, is that legitimately everyone in the company is such a good wrestler. The barometer, the quality of wrestling in WWE is higher right now than it ever has been before in the company's history. But and that's what sucks when I say I hate Sami Zayn, because it's the dude's a good wrestler. It's just I hate everything else about him. So I can respect his wrestling, but I don't like anything else. Another guy like that, though, for me, me and my dad, we hate Ty Dillinger. Great wrestler.
Really? Dude, Ty Dillinger's amazing.
Dude,
I love him.
He's really good. We just hate the 10 thing. It's so stupid. It's just 10, over and over. It's so lame. We get so tired of that, and he needs something new. And
he might need to rework his thing.
That's the thing, is the crowd's so behind it, but it's
it's true too.
It's one of those things where it's I wish the crowd wasn't behind it, because all they ever do is chant 10. It's kind of like the what? I hate what? I hate that. I hate 10. There's a couple things the crowd will do sometimes that is just more annoying than it is fun.
Yeah. You're not wrong. That's for sure.
So
it was not a good pay-per-view. I wasn't really into it. Watch it, though.
I'll probably check out the Punjabi prison match just because they have one of those, once every 7, 8, 10 years or something like that.
Sure. Watch that, I guess, if you want. And then watch the first match. It was a really good tag team match. New Day. And they had Xavier in, dude. That's what was awesome. Yeah, they had Xavier in. I don't know.
Who was it? Xavier and Kofi or Xavier and Big E?
I got really confused. I thought it was Xavier and Big E, but then at the end I saw Kofi, and I was kind of watching the Kind of Funny Live 3 stuff, so I don't know if there was some sort of switch or something.
So you were watching Xavier in two places?
Yeah, exactly. And but it was Xavier and Kofi by the end of it, I think.
Okay. See, that's always been weird about New Day to me, is that they are a tag team, but it's also like they're
interchange people.
There's 3 people. It's weird.
Yeah.
On a real level, though, while we continue this wrestling talk on a gaming podcast, the last thing I'll say, I guess, about SmackDown, I wish Jinder could just like straight up win a match. Like I have done a total 180, and I think a lot of people have, like, of totally like loathing Jinder Mahal to now actually liking the guy. Like he's on a good run, but he needs to legitimately win a match.
He's doing the whole like foreigner, like, guy, not hate America, but like, Maharaja, whatever thing. Like, he's doing it.
You people.
Yeah, like basically like saying everybody's a racist. Like, he's doing it really well. I mean, it's nothing new, but he's doing a really good job at, portraying that. But yeah, he needs to be, I don't know, he's just not powerful, I guess, even though he looks powerful, because he always has like the Singh brothers like do something for him, or now the Great Khali come out to finish the match and stuff like that, and it's just, I don't know, man. I love Jinder though. I think Jinder's great.
Jinder's doing really, really well. Like, it's still so strange that we can say that, but he's doing good work, man. Like,
I think it's great that they got a guy, just some random like Jinder Mahal. They just got a random dude on SmackDown and brought him up to like being the champion, like randomly for no reason at all.
Yeah,
he probably doesn't. I mean, does he deserve it? Maybe. He's been working for the company for a long time.
He has,
but it's like,
I mean, and look,
he
how
didn't deserve it
got.
with the storyline, though.
I mean, it was a good place for them to do it, though, because it was right after WrestleMania, and that's kind of like the hard reset for everything wrestling every year. It's like, okay, all storylines end at WrestleMania, and we start over after that. So he was pretty much, his title shot was right at the pay-per-view right after WrestleMania, because I remember Randy dropping the belt right after that, and I was like, what was the point of having Randy win it? WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really pointless. Because who did he beat? I forget.
Bray?
Yeah, it was Bray. Because I was like, Bray's on a good run. Like, have Bray keep holding the belt, and of course they make Bray lose because the dude never freaking wins it.
Well, and now he's on Raw, I think.
Yeah, now he's on Raw, stalking Finn still.
Yeah,
I think.
Finn Balor. No, yeah, it's weird. I don't know, man.
I don't know what's.
That's the other thing. I could talk about how Finn Balor should still have the Universal title because he deserves it, because he had it first, and then whatever. We don't have to get into that.
I think that'll be WrestleMania, if I had to guess, and I think he might.
Could be SummerSlam too. Well, no, it can't be.
It can't be SummerSlam. I think they'd be smart if he took it from Brock, but I also don't know if Brock's going to roll over at SummerSlam or not. So we'll. I
think Brock is gone at SummerSlam.
Yeah, because he has deer hunting season coming up, where he retreats into the wilderness for 6 months and no one ever sees him or hears from him. So,
I think he also wants to go back to UFC. That was like a rumor that was going around.
Well, supposedly he cleared his drug test the other day. Or something like that. So I don't know, dude. WWE's been pretty good lately. I don't know. It's not been terrible. Like, there's like 6 month spans in the past where it's like, I am not watching this. It's been so bad. Like, I still look forward to like Raw on Mondays. Like, I'd like to watch it tonight, even though I won't because I'm busy. But like, I don't know. I'm still like all in on Bray Wyatt though.
Me too.
Like, he has been so good. Or not Bray Wyatt. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say. I mean, I am all in on Bray Wyatt. I love Bray.
I'm all in on Bray Wyatt as well.
What's his freaking name? Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's my favorite wrestler in the company.
Oh man, Braun is great.
Yeah, he's been on such a good roll these last 6 months.
There's a whole other thing that I could talk about with Braun Strowman too, but
we will spare the kind.
We should not keep on going into wrestling because I could talk about it for hours.
Yeah, we really could, and we bring it up on every single podcast that we are on together. Mainly because you're the only other person I know who really watches wrestling on a week-to-week basis, like I do.
Yeah,
including. I'm getting into New Japan and stuff like that. Slowly, we're taping it now. We're
so good.
It's pretty good. There's some good matches. I forget what the one was we watched the other night.
Kenny Omega is like I know it's like oversaid and overdone, but Kenny Omega's probably like the best wrestler right now. Just from his gimmick to like his style and everything like that, his showmanship and the ring and stuff. It's just a whole package that guy is. Him and Okada is really good too, even though that's another thing that's overstated and everything like that. But he's awesome too.
See, as I watch like New Japan, man, we're getting back into wrestling. As I watch New Japan though, like Like, there's like a good quality, good caliber of wrestlers over there, like doing unique things, and it makes me wonder if like CM Punk would ever come back and just go over there.
He should. That would be the place to go.
It would be amazing. Like
that's like if Dolph Ziggler too, like if he was to leave WWE, because that's been a thing. Like if he went to Japan, he'd do really well there because he's a good-looking white dude. And
the thing about New Japan too is like the more that I watch it is they let those guys do insane moves.
Oh my!
They would never WWE would never allow just because of safety reasons. Like it's almost hard to watch New Japan at times because I'm like legitimately frightened that somebody's going to get
all they
hurt.
have is just like little mats like that's covering concrete. That is it.
Yep.
And then they like throw people over railings that are just hitting people. Like they're straight up hitting people and stuff. It's nuts.
I forget who we were watching the other night, but the dude was like straight up kicking another dude. Like, and I know it all looks fake, but we like kept rewinding it, and it was like this dude is straight up kicking this other guy in the face as hard as he can. It looks like like they legitimately hit each other sometimes over there, and it's just I don't know.
Crazy.
It's crazy, dude. It is like I don't want to say ECW because it's not on that level, but just I don't know, and I don't know if maybe just WWE style of wrestling has made us numb to like actual like good wrestling like that now. But recently,
though, WWE they've been showing blood lately and stuff like that. Like even a pay-per-view,
I think
the Money in the Bank, even some Raws they had. Like it's weird.
Finn got busted open last week against the drifter, Elias Sampson. Is that his name?
Yeah.
That sucked. Poor Finn.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That
was wrestling talk.
Video games
now. Let's talk about WWE 2K18, which
coming
is
to Switch
on October 17th. Actually, when that does come out, we'll have Yana talk about that game most likely because I'll probably play it this year.
Yeah, I'm playing it for sure.
Video games, yeah. Like I said, so Max isn't here this week. I guess housekeeping at the front of the show. Because we are doing things a little bit out of order this week, there's going to be no second half of the show this week. So Michael and myself we'll run over all the news from the past week, and we've got nothing special planned for the second half of this show this week. However, I don't want to commit to anything quite yet, but for episode 103, we might have a guest on, Max and myself. I am not certain as to whether that will work out for 103 or if it'll be another episode. But we're in the process of getting somebody on here and talking to them for the first time. A first-time guest, a new guest, not one of these people like Michael, who's been on here all the time.
I've been on here quite a bit, actually.
So we might have a guest on 103. And other than that, the only other thing we have coming up in the pipeline over the course of the next few weeks is Play and Report will be returning. We brought this up on episode 100. But that episode was 4 hours long, so you may not have heard this part. We're bringing Play and Report back. We will be doing that segment again. Probably, I'd say, I'm going to aim to do it by 104, episode 104, and Max and myself are going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2. We're doing a two-pack.
Boo!
A 2-pack retrospective on those Sonic games. Dude, I'm digging out my Genesis for that. I actually should probably do that tonight because I haven't actually started playing it yet.
If not, you could play it on your phone for freezies.
I could also do that, but I want to play it on the Genesis because I have a working Sega Genesis.
There you go.
Like 20-something years old at this point. So I may as well dig it up. So we're going to be doing a retrospective on those two games around 104. We wanted to save it and do it to coincide with, of course, Sonic Mania coming out. So, other than that, though, Michael, video games. What have you been up to lately? Because you said you've been playing a lot of stuff.
I've been playing a lot. Yeah, I've been in the Telltale mood lately. So I finished Walking Dead: A New Frontier today. Actually,
okay.
I liked it. It had problems. I know that a lot of people had technical issues with that game. I had no technical issues at all during my playthrough.
I actually don't think I did either. I just had a ton of issues with the story.
That's different.
A lot.
But there were some frame issues, like normal Telltale game stuff, but it never froze on me. Nothing like that ever happened to me. So on that aspect, good job, Telltale. It's the best looking game they've made so far. and it's the best performing game they've made so far. So awesome. The story was okay. The ending was fine. I don't know. It was just all weird.
It was just,
I don't know.
Yeah. I
more so than like any other Telltale game I've played. I was kind of like, it seemed forced because they need to have Clementine survive at the end and for the next season, which we'll talk about later. But like, yeah, it's just all weird. I wasn't really a huge fan of the ending, but it was the journey to that. I liked it a lot. Like I liked the story and I liked the characters that they had there, but until the end, like the ending was the thing that ruined it for me, basically.
It was just, so I have a big rant on season 3 of The Walking Dead, in episode 98. So if you have not listened to that, you can go check that out. I kind of mentioned it to you, like when we were messaging back and forth about it earlier, but it's just the story, especially with that and with a couple other games they've done recently, the story, they have to sacrifice elements of the story that they're writing because it has to fit into the structure they're creating with the choice system and all that. And because of that, I think it becomes too formulaic, and it becomes like, now that I've played like 5 to 10 Telltale games, it's like, oh, none of these choices matter in the end, really, do they? And more so in the New Frontier than in some past games, I really felt like my choices didn't matter a whole lot.
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt, because I feel like in the end of the day, like the main character. We're gonna get into spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
And we're gonna get into
we
spoilers.
did spoilers for episode 98 as well.
So Javi's gonna live, like that. Everybody knows that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Clementine's gonna live. Everybody knows that's gonna happen. And really, the only characters that are going to die are the woman that you're like kind of in love with, but in my character decided he wasn't, and then your brother David, I think.
Did the girl die? Did she die?
For me, no. It feels like she would be the one to die if she like. It seems like she could die.
Maria? Was that?
I think so.
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
David and David's wife. It seemed like that was the choice you were picking on that last chapter. It's like you could either go to help David or you can go and help, we'll say, Maria. So like I chose to help her and not David, and Clementine went after David, and David died.
Yeah, but you're gonna say it
like I feel like that was just like, well, it's instead of like who are you choosing to save, it's more like who are you choosing to die. Like who's going to die. Who do you want to die?
Well,
like,
do you look up the alternative decisions after you've played the game? Because I always do that out of curiosity. And like in this situation, it's like, oh, David dies no matter what. Like,
oh, is it really?
Yeah. So no matter what happens, he dies at that point.
Oh, that's See, that's kind of
so.
It's
dumb. Like there was really no point to that. I don't know. I mean, I think my biggest issues with it was that like. They lay this groundwork in like the early episodes of like decisions you make, like killing the one guy in the train tunnel. If you chose to do that, which I did because he had a gun to Clem's head and the other kid's head. I'm like, I'm gonna kill this guy. Yeah. So like you kill that guy, and then like in the 4th episode, like. That kid randomly brings it up, and he's like smirking about it, and he's like, haha, yeah, I'm bringing this up. It's like, why would you bring this up? Like, the characters don't act like real people because they have to serve as catalysts for these decisions that Telltale is like, or the Telltale manufactures this drama into the game, which then prompts you to make a decision. So like a character like that kid, in reality, I'm going to guess that a kid like that would literally never bring up an entire room of people that you killed a guy in a train subway protecting him and saving his life because he knows that everybody else is going to get pissed. But in a Telltale game, they have to bring that up because they're trying to make drama and lead you to some decision like a couple minutes later. It's like it's not realistic. Like this is not how people act.
And I think that's something that in the first season and even in the second season, I think they did a really good job of like hiding those choices and their effects later on. Because especially in the first one, I would have never guessed like certain choices I did would affect how. I mean, in the end, Lee dies at the end.
Yeah,
and no matter what you do, and that's what's going to happen. But like your Clementine that you craft in that kind of changes depending on that. I guess. I mean, more or less the same. It's
it was
really
like
not that
subtle
much
changes though, but it was like things that you could appreciate. Like, oh, she cut her hair because I taught her that, or like small things like that. That was like, oh, okay, cool. Like it feels like you had an effect on them.
Yeah, exactly. But like in this one, you're right. Like it felt like we're just gonna bring up this weird thing that no one would otherwise know if you didn't say anything. Like, why would you say that in front of somebody? What is your problem?
Yeah, and there was like multiple. I mean, that's the one that comes to mind right now. But there was like multiple plot points like that with it throughout the game, or like even at the end of episode 4 is another good example where it's like you think the chick blows up in the car, it's like no, and then like literally 2 seconds into the next one, it's like just kidding, I'm alive. It's like, what was you just manufacture this fake drama, and I get it, like. Television, movies do that. Like, it doesn't make it any less lame in any form of media or any medium that it's being portrayed through. So I guess I don't like it in any of those, the false sense of drama that they create. But I don't know. It's just season 3 like really caved in on itself. And what sucks is like through the first 2 episodes, I was like, holy crap, this is like maybe the best season they've done so far. Like, I thought those first two episodes were, like, so freaking good, dude. Like, and then you run into your brother at the end of the second episode, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is, like, holy crap, I cannot believe what is going to happen in the third episode. And then, like, it's just kind of like a wet fart. Like, nothing good came of it.
I could totally agree with that. I do think that the third season is better than the second season. I don't know why, but I think I like Javi as a character a lot.
I like Javi as a character too. Yeah.
Like, I think he's a really good character, and I like the relationship with his brother that he has. I think it's really cool to see that relationship grow. And that was like my favorite part of that whole game was seeing their relationship and stuff like that. But yeah, I could agree that like the first 2 episodes were amazing and I loved them. They're really good. But yeah, after that it kind of drifts off a little bit, and by the 5th episode it's kind of whatever. Whereas like the second season of Walking Dead was, I don't know, like the entire time I didn't really care about any of the characters at all. And the character that I hated from the first season, like I ended up liking in the second season. He was like Kenny was like a totally different person. Yeah. So it was just weird.
In some he was nicer, but he was also like, he had lost it in the second season. He was like,
that's true.
I don't know, like all that stress and loss had just built up on him, or he was kind of like crazy at that point. But yeah, that was, I mean, again, I've given my whole rant on this, so I don't want to restate everything. If you are a weekly listener, you know how I feel about this. But the one thing I appreciated this time was that there was one specific scene in season 3 where I think his name was Conrad. Was that the white dude with the beard's name? Was that his name? Or was that the other guy?
Oh, no, that was Trip.
Trip. And Conrad was the black guy that I ended up killing because he had lost it. So Trip, he was left alive for me after episode 4 when you have to choose which one you want to save.
Yeah.
Between him and that girl. In mine, the girl died, so he was still alive. And he came up to me after that whole like opening segment, and he's like, hey, just wanted to let you know I've been thinking a lot about what happened with you killing Conrad, and while I'm still mad about it, I can understand why you would make that decision and why it came to that. And while I don't forgive you for it, I understand, and I'm not gonna kill you or be pissed about it. Like we can let bygones be bygones or whatever. And I was like, holy crap. Okay, about freaking time, because the one thing that has always annoyed me about those games is that the decisions are so freaking black and white to every character in that game. Like you are presented with these decisions that are so freaking hard in those games sometimes. It's like there's no right answer to this. There's no right answer to this. And you finally make a decision, and then like half the characters in the game will only see it one way rather than seeing it another. And it's like they forever hate you after that because you made that one decision. It's like, can you not see how maybe I would have been caught in the middle in a decision like that? Like, and that was my problem with Kenny in season 1. Like, you either agreed with him or you didn't. And if you didn't, he hated you. Yeah, he never bothered to sympathize with you at all. He never tried to get on your side or anything. Like, and maybe that can be part of his character traits. But again, after I've played so many of these games, it's more become like that's just how most of the characters operate rather than just Kenny. And so to finally have like Tripp come forward at one point to me and be like, hey, I'm not mad at you. I can kind of understand why you did that. I was like, holy crap, okay, it only took like, 8 or 10 Telltale games for this to finally happen? Like, okay, about time somebody sees that there's like a gray between these decisions rather than just like, oh, you made that decision. Now Tripp hates you for the rest of the game. Good job. Like,
yeah,
that's always really bothered me with Telltale games. So that was a good positive for Season 3.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't... He definitely died in mine.
He died in mine too, like 5 minutes after that scene. So
yeah, but yeah. What else was there that I played? I mean, I played I'm playing Batman right now. I'm going into the third episode, and it's okay. I mean, it's fine. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
So I mean, let's just, before we get too much more into that, I mean, we may as well just talk about the Telltale stuff while we're talking about Telltale already. So this is a news story from the past week. But Telltale was talking about how they were going to have a presentation at San Diego Comic-Con this past weekend, which they did. But they also revealed beforehand like a new 15-minute video talking about what they've got on their upcoming slate of games that they're making, or seasons of these games that they're making. Because right now they're only doing Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, and Minecraft Season 2, I guess, is the other one. But they announced that 3 not new games that they're working on. They are all new seasons of previous products that they've worked on. The first of which is the sequel to Batman. It is called Batman: The Enemy Within. So Season 2 of Telltale's Batman series. That actually debuts August 8th. And it is, the first episode will be called The Enigma. So it's going to deal with the Riddler, which is kind of cool. Also looks like, of course, the Joker is going to have a major role. They've got a trailer out for it that you can watch. But it looks like Joker and the Riddler are going to be the 2 big baddies in Season 2 of The Walking Dead, or Season 2 of Telltale Batman, which, like I said, is called The Enemy Within. It looks okay. I'm just kind of burnt with Telltale, and I didn't like the first season of Batman. So
yeah,
I will be skipping this for now, but we will... Telltale games go on sale for like $5 a lot of times after they've been released. So
like a month.
Yeah. So maybe like a year from now I'll jump in. I'm so burnt with Telltale right now, though, after Season 3 of The Walking Dead, that I just really have no desire to hop back in very soon. But yeah, I mean, I think most people thought that the Batman was obvious, because if you have a property like Batman, you should probably take advantage of that more so than Borderlands or Fables or something like that. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't think this is a huge shock, but so that was their first thing they announced. Second thing they announced was Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, the final season is what they are calling it. It is coming in 2018, and it will wrap up Clementine's story, which to me means she's probably gonna die, if I had to guess, because I don't think she's gonna be an old lady and just live out her days in peace. I would have to guess Clem's going to die there, but we'll have to see. They didn't give too many new details on that.
I mean, they said it's the final season, so I'm going to assume that they're not doing Walking Dead after this.
Yeah, so this is going to be it for The Walking Dead, I would have to imagine.
I feel like this would be the one where you can actually choose if Clem dies or not dies.
Yeah.
Like they would have like 2 different endings.
That would actually be good. That would be good, rather than funneling it all towards one specific ending. If they could have like a couple different endings depending on how you've treated her over the course of the 3 seasons so far.
Yeah.
So plus it's nice to see that she will be taking center stage once again. Like, again, I liked Javi. Like, I was fine with him and I enjoyed his arc, but I mean, we play the games for Clem, I think, more often. Yeah. More of us do than not. So it'll be nice to actually get some closure with her whole story. So that's in 2018. We will hear more of that soon. The final thing they announced, and the final thing that they said that everybody has been begging for, of course, is a second season of The Wolf Among Us. Yeah. They have not said much yet, other than, hey, it's happening. 2018 for that as well. and they released a couple screenshots, so they've got some screenshots out for Batman, and then just some teaser logos for Wolf Among Us and Walking Dead. But Wolf Among Us, cool. Like, everybody has been wanting that. I felt like it was only a matter of time until we got that. Like, a bunch of people thought that would never happen. Like, it just made sense that they would do that again.
People loved it, and it reviewed really well. Yeah. Like, it's probably one of the better reviewed Telltale games, like, throughout each episode. Because I played up to episode 4. Like, I played episode 4, and I had one more episode. I didn't finish it. I don't know why. But, yeah, like, that one throughout the entire thing was interesting and really cool. And, I mean, the art style is super awesome that they did there. That was, like, the first Telltale game where I was like, oh, this actually looks super cool. Cause
the music was really good, too. Like, the soundtrack of that game was fantastic. Like, all the synth and electronic music to it. Like, it just had a cool vibe, and that world is cool. Like, I actually tried to read Fables after I played the game, and I was like, it's not the same. So they struck something with that game that really clicked with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'd say it's my second favorite, behind only season 1 of The Walking Dead. I just think season 1 of The Walking Dead is, like, perfect.
At the time, it was amazing.
It was my game of the year the year it came out. I think that was, like, what, 2012? Yeah. It was my game of the year that year.
That year was nuts, though, too.
I don't think it was. Was it?
Didn't Journey come out that year?
Journey came out that year. That was, like, the only other big thing.
There was a few other things, I'm pretty sure.
There's a couple other things.
Was BioShock Infinite that year?
No, it was 2013.
Okay.
Mass Effect 3 was that year, though.
Oh, well, not a lot of people like that game.
That wasn't going to be on the top of my list.
Speaking of stories funneling to one ending.
Yeah, and we'll actually probably talk about Mass Effect and Bioware again here in a second.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, cool. I mean, it's cool to see... as far as Walking Dead goes, it's cool to see that they are doing it, putting an end in sight for that series. Like, thumbs up from me with that. Thumbs up again with the Wolf Among Us season 2, and then Batman. It's like, okay,
why wouldn't you? You know?
Yeah, like I said, like you've got free reign to use the Batman property. You've kind of built your own version of Batman, so
yeah,
it was obvious that they were going to do a second season of that at some point. But cool. I mean, all these upcoming projects look cool. I mean, more interesting to me than Minecraft or Guardians of the Galaxy, I guess. So
yeah, that was the thing. Is I wish that instead of Guardians, I said it before, I wish it was Spider-Man. That would have been great.
Spider-Man would have been really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've just got major Telltale fatigue right now. So hopefully by the time we do hear more about The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us Season 2, I am feeling like I want to pick up one of those games again. So
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see what happens. But
yeah,
cool. Good little nugget of info from them about what they got coming up. So yeah, I don't know what else you've been playing then.
Just to finish it off quickly, I played more Tekken 7 because it's amazing. It's my game of the year. I figured it out. Game of the year, Tekken 7.
I want to buy it, dude. Like I really just to play against you because you won't stop talking about it. Even
it's
though
so
you'll
good.
whoop on me.
It's so good. I love it so much. But yeah, I've been playing more of that, and then I played Marvel Heroes Omega. Those are the games I've been playing, which is fun. I mean, if you like Diablo-like games, it's pretty much Diablo with Marvel characters. It's cool. And luckily, like, the free character that they have is Daredevil, and Daredevil is one of my favorite Marvel characters out of anybody. So I'm really cool with playing Daredevil. So
is that the character you start with?
I mean, you could start with any character, but on the PSN store, like, you could get Daredevil for free. Like, the character is free.
Oh, yeah. And it's like the Netflix version of him, or not the Netflix version of him, because that's the Netflix version is copying the comics. It's the, like, OG, like, wrap a bandana around his head version of Daredevil.
Yeah, well, you could get either one. You get both of them free. You get, like, normal red suit, or you get, the Man Without... They call it Man Without Fear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's those two skins. It's fun. Like, it's just something I like to put a podcast on and just, play around and stuff like that.
Something kind of mindless, which is what I don't know. Like, I've needed games like that recently, I think, which is why I've been, like, pouring so much time into Mario Kart and stuff like that, because it's just like, I don't want to think for, like, an hour. I'm just going to play this.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, and I played Kingdom Hearts.
Oh! How far are you into that?
I just beat where am I? I was at the Hercules thing.
Oh, you were at the Coliseum?
Yeah, I beat. Oh yeah, I'm fighting the 3-headed dog. That's what I'm doing.
The Cerberus. How do you think it holds up overall?
The combat is awful and the camera's horrible. But I think if they did the combat like Final Fantasy 15 for the new one,
yeah,
I think it'd be freaking amazing. I think it'd be really
two holds
cool.
up much better. I think.
Yeah,
it really does.
Yeah, but like, man, I mean, it kind of holds up, but at the same time, it doesn't. Like the camera issue, like, is so bad. Yeah, I hate the camera in that game.
Yeah. You can set it on like auto something or another where it like kind of helps guide it, but like I found that to be annoying, so it's
really bad.
Yeah,
it's bad, and it's like intrusive in some ways, and I just hate it. But otherwise, I mean, the game and the story is cool. But yeah, it's also like pretty difficult, and
yeah,
like I don't know, maybe I'm just a little baby, but it's just way more difficult than I thought it was.
It's definitely hard early on, especially before you get cure yourself, before you get the spell cure, because
that's the thing is like I have to take like a ton of potions. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I just want to beat the damn thing.
Yeah.
And I don't
Donald
know,
doesn't help you at all in that game. Donald is the worst AI companion of all time in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Just dies all the time.
In Kingdom Hearts 2, he's not too bad. But in Kingdom Hearts 1, it's like, I'm dying, I have no potions. Donald, you have 3 bars of magic. Cast cure for goodness sake, and he won't. So you kind of get screwed there. But yeah, I mean, I played through it earlier this year, and like I said, I feel like it holds up well for better than I would expect in 2017, 15 years after the release of that game. Like, all things considered, it is still a sound video game 15 years later, which you can't say about
Crash Bandicoot.
Many other games that came out 15 years ago. Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot is horrible. What a bad game.
Have you played those?
Yeah,
I played the trilogy.
Amber got the Insane trilogy.
Okay.
Those are not good. They're not good.
I have not. So I have the Insane trilogy. Don't ask me why I bought it. I have it though.
I'm gonna go on record here and say that Crash Bandicoot is not a good game. It is a relic of a time that should be forgotten because 3D at that point 3D platformers were not that great, and other than Mario 64 and like Banjo-Kazooie, and Crash Bandicoot is horrible. It's just bad. It's aggravating. It's just aggravating.
I played the first 3 levels and I was like, yeah, not really digging this. I've also heard it said constantly that you need to play 2 and 3 before you play 1 if you're a newcomer to the franchise, which I guess I am. But to me, that's like still so weird. At the same time, it's like it's just I don't know. I'll probably play through them at some point.
There are levels in there that I'm like, what? Like, you have to get the timing so right in order to make a certain jump, and I'm like, this is stupid. I don't know. It was just really aggravating. I haven't been aggravated at a game like that in so long. Yeah. And for me to get that mad during a game, I'm like, I don't want to play this. I don't want to be angry when I play video games. So yeah. I don't know.
I need to go through those at some point. But
yeah, I don't know. They're bad, and I never liked them. And I still don't like them. So I don't even know why I had a desire to even play them.
Yeah, I mean, if you like them, I think that's fine. But if you want to sit here and claim that those games should be spoken in the same breath as Mario or Banjo or anything like that, it's like, we need to sit down and have a discussion.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, people treat it like it's one of those. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not good. Like, it's fine. Yeah. It's just not Mario, dude. It's not like Banjo-Kazooie, I guess. It's not even Glover, dude. Glover was the man.
Glover was a game, bro. Got that wizard dropping his gloves into a magic cauldron, and then that thing comes alive, and he's like, yo, I'll go get those balls. That's a game.
That's a game, dude. Glover's amazing. But it's not even Glover, dude. It's like Bubsy, dude.
It's like not even Rocket Robot on wheels, dude. Like that's the jam.
No, man. Yeah, it's like Bubsy level of good, which is not good, dude. It's just not great at all.
Bubsy's coming back too, dear God. Speaking of really bad platformers, I mentioned it to... I don't know if I mentioned it to Max on this podcast. Or I may have mentioned it. I think I did mention it to Max, but I don't know if I mentioned it on this podcast. I have entered a blood pact with one of my friends, Michael, to purchase and play through the entirety of Knack 2 on release day.
Hey, man, Knack 2 looks pretty good. Not gonna lie. I mean, it's getting positive preview.
I think we're going to go half and half on it. So we'll end up spending like $15-$20 because it's only a $40 game, and then we're just going to come over to my house and play the entire thing in co-op.
It should only take like 5 hours, right?
Probably. Actually, the first knack was like 12 hours, maybe.
Was it really?
It was. It was like surprisingly kind of long.
I think I had one more chapter left in it. I was close to beating it.
I was so hyped for Knack when it came out, dude. I was like, this is the game, bro. This is the game. This is why I bought a PS4. Yeah.
Them voxels, man. Nuts. All right? It's crazy.
Launch windows are so strange, dude, because you hype yourself up for the weirdest games.
Yeah.
I will still vouch for Shadowfall, though. Killzone Shadowfall, solid game.
That was a solid... I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I think it still holds up now, like at least graphically.
I bought so many games in the launch. I don't even...
I bought like 8 games during launch, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I bought an Xbox One and a PS4 in successive weeks. And then I also bought NBA 2K14. It was 14 on PS4. I bought Resogun. I bought Flower on PS4. I bought Knack. I bought Killzone Shadowfall. And then... the following week I got my Xbox, and I got Dead Rising, and I got Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Yeah.
And I know I got like another game or two in there somewhere.
I got Killzone Shadowfall, NBA 2K14, Assassin's Creed, and Need for Speed Rivals, was it?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
And I think I got another game. I can't remember. But yeah, I got so many games.
I just remember I bought like I easily had to have spent close to like $1,500, like $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 in the course of like 2 weeks. And I remember it wasn't back to back because I think I had paid off my Xbox like months in advance and stuff like that. So it was like I'd spread the money out a little bit, but it was just like. And I've told this story before, but like my girlfriend had just dumped me, and I was like, I am just going to purchase video games now. Everybody leave me alone. So that's what I did.
Not a bad thing. I mean, when my ex-girlfriend broke up with me, I got really into comic books. That's how I got into comic books again. I went to a dollar store, and I shit you not, bought like 100 comics because they were all $1. And then I got really into comic books, and then I started reading, like, that was when Mark Waid's Daredevil came out, and like all these good comics were coming out. I'm like, oh no. And then I was spending like $40 a week on comic books.
All I was doing was working. I was working 40 hours a week, and I had like $4 or $5 grand in my bank account, and I didn't have like any bills. I was like, my girlfriend dumped me. I'm sad. I'm going to spend money on things I don't need to spend money on. That was also when I got into comic books, but not like week to week stuff. That was when I was like, I would like to collect every Amazing Spider-Man comic that has ever existed. And so I was like, sure, I will purchase the first appearance of Venom for $150 and like stuff like that. It was like,
all right,
I don't need to be doing this, but sure, why not? I will get into this. And that was a decision that still takes up a corner of my room.
Yeah, I by the time I die, I want to own the first arc of Ninja Turtles, like the first 4 issues.
That would be cool. That's actually that's achievable, at least.
Because I mean, the only one that's really expensive is the first issue. It's like $1,500 for a first issue, but otherwise they're like 80. It's like 80, 50, 50. I think that's all. They're really cheap.
The ones I need to shell out for. Jeez, my dog keeps barking this episode. I'm sorry, everybody. The one I need to shell out for before it gets too insane in price is Invincible #1. I want to own that comic. As of now, it's only like $80 to $100, so it's not that bad. If that movie comes out in a few years, though, the price will skyrocket. Yeah. So I need to actually probably do that very soon. There's a couple issues of Invincible that are somewhat expensive, like $30-$40. Like, none of them are too bad. Like, I want to collect that entire series, especially since it's coming to an end later this year. Like, that'll be an entire run of a comic book front to back that will just be complete, and I would like to have all of those. The problem is it's hard. It's like a harder series to find because it's not like super popular, so there's not like bins upon bins upon bins of them at every comic convention that you go to. So it's a little bit harder. You have to go to the bigger, like more regional comic conventions, like the big Chicago Comic Con, I think, was the last one I went to. Like there's a huge
C2E2.
C2E2 is pretty big.
Reed Pop ones.
C2E2 is big, but there's another bigger one that they have.
Oh, Wizard World?
Is that up there at Rosemont? Yeah. Wizard World? Yes. That is like huge, or like you get like people from the entire Midwest there, and that's where you can find like a lot of stuff. The ones that are just like
is becoming that show now.
Is it? So, okay, that makes sense. I'll have to go there next year then. But yeah, like I would like to collect that entire run because I think that's actually achievable, whereas all the Amazing Spider-Mans is not achievable. Like there's a couple series that like I have. I think I'm 2 issues away from having everything Scott Snyder New 52 Batman. Like I almost have that entire run.
Nice.
So yeah, there's a couple like that, Ultimate Spider-Man and Invincible. If I could get those entire runs, I would be happy.
Yeah, I want the entire run of the newest Ninja Turtles stuff because it's really good. Like it's great. It's, in my opinion, the best version of the Ninja Turtles is this new comic that's out. So
that would be cool. I wish I could gotten into the Ninja Turtles, dude.
I'm in the fan mail for a couple of them, so I like it.
I think you told me that before, actually. That's really super cool.
I'm in the fan mail for like 3 of them. So.
I probably should have tried to do that with Invincible when they did. Do they still do that with Invincible, or am I thinking of Outcast? It might only be Outcast that they do that. I can't remember. But I should actually try to get myself an Invincible issue before it's over, and then I'll cry for weeks. I actually haven't purchased the newest issue of Invincible yet, and I guess like something big happens, like somebody probably dies, because I've heard like a lot of like, oh my gosh, like, and usually when that happens, it's like, oh no, I know what's gonna happen here, because Invincible is basically the Game of Thrones of comic books, so people die every 10 issues, but now that it's ramping up towards the end, I'm like really scared. I don't want to go to the store to pick it up. I'm like, making me nervous. So that's our comic book aside to go along with our wrestling aside for this week's show.
Yeah.
As far as what I've been playing, not a whole lot. It's not true. I've been playing a lot of Nier Automata still.
Awesome. Still
sinking my teeth into my first quote unquote playthrough or first ending of that game. I think I'm getting kind of close. I keep doing a lot of side quest stuff, though, and I should probably just start beelining the story, honestly. So I think I'm going to start doing that soon, but I haven't. I was out of town over the weekend, so I did not get to play anything this weekend. But I'm kind of far into that. I think I'm pretty far into that.
What's up?
Your dad's downstairs.
Okay. All right.
Michael's dad is downstairs. Do you need to go?
Yeah. Probably for a second. I have to tell him that I'm doing a podcast.
Okay, that's fine. We will take a break then. Michael's going to go talk to his dad. And we're back. Michael has finished talking to his father. How is he doing?
He's doing good. Yeah. I've been stuck in books and stuff, so like I've been kind of not talking to anybody, which is why I this morning you texted me and you're like, oh, did you get a new phone number? I'm like, no, I just been kind of doing homework, dude, and just stuck in books. So I'm bad
at responding to people too. I was texting one of my friends over the weekend, and we were texting each other back and forth like once every 6 hours. One of us would send a message. We're like, oh, we're really bad at this, even though I'm on Discord and crap all the time. Anyway, where were we before we stopped? Nier Automata, I guess?
Yeah. You were playing Nier Automata.
I'm almost, like I said, almost through the first one. I don't know, I continue to really like it. Like, I'm going to get all the endings on the game.
Nice.
Not too much else to say about it right now. We'll see where it goes from here. Are you still interested in playing that one?
Yes, I totally am.
It's it does a lot of cool things that I did not expect from that game. I took a chance on that one because that is a game in which any other year I would definitely skip it. Like just from the outside looking in, like I would look at that game and be like, yeah, it's not for me, but that's cool. I just heard so many good things about it where I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to check it out. And it has been a ton of fun. It's like one of my favorites so far this year. So I would definitely encourage you to do the same. I don't know, dude. I've enjoyed like kind of breaking out of my shell, even though I kind of play a little bit of everything already. Still looking at like Yakuza 0 as well. Like I swear that I will play that game by the end of the year. Like I will do that.
It's good. It's good.
So I mean, there's just games that I would not have purchased in years past. I'm purchasing this year, which is bad for my wallet, but I think it makes me more rounded and more informed about other games. I bought Splatoon 2 today. I guess I haven't mentioned that yet. Have not played it yet. It just finished downloading on my Switch a bit ago. But we'll play that. I'll play a little bit of that later. I don't know. That game's fun. Like I played the Splatfest. I was like, this is fun. This is a good game that I would just enjoy having on my Switch. Like kind of like Mario Kart, where it's like Mario Kart's on my Switch. I can play it at any point, and it'll be fun at least.
Yeah.
Splatoon's kind of like that. I feel like as well, where it's like I can bounce in here, play a couple matches while laying in bed, put my Switch down, and go to sleep or something like that. Like, and the matches are only like 2 or 3 minutes as well. Like it's pretty. You get in and get out pretty quick in that game, so it's fun. I mean, it's Splatoon, like it's just more that. So
yeah, that first one I really enjoyed. I actually didn't get to play the Splatfest stuff. Was there any like different changes, or is it pretty much the same game?
So I never really played the first one, so I couldn't speak too much about changes, just because I'm not well versed enough in the original. But everything I've heard from people who do know a lot about that first one, they say multiplayer wise, it is pretty much the same game.
Okay.
But again, I mean, they added a few new weapons and a few new abilities and things like that here and there. I mean, the small changes you would expect from a sequel. But besides that, it sounds like it's pretty much the same. The new things sound like they're coming with Salmon Run, which is amazing, and we need to get a team together and play that. I know Max has got Splatoon as well. We both caved. Surprise. Max last week said we would not buy it, and then, of course, we did. So we've got that. And we need to play Salmon Run at some point because I really am looking forward to that.
Okay.
So we'll have to. I don't know if you get it. We'll set up a date and we'll all play that together.
Oh.
But I have not played it yet. I probably will a little bit tonight if I had to guess. And then the only other thing I guess I have played now is Super Hot VR. So.
Oh yeah, sick dude.
So you can find, by the time this posts, my review will be live on DualShockers. I don't know, I'm in the process of writing it right now, so I haven't given it an exact score or anything yet. And both ways on it. The game itself is so freaking fun and unique, dude. Like that, I have not played anything like that in VR yet. And it's easily the most engaging experience I've had in VR so far. And it's one of the most unique, and it's one of the most like action-driven as well. Like it's a fast game, even though time is literally stopping.
Yes.
Like it is a game. It is a very quick game where it has a ton of. You will do the same thing on repeat constantly until you get into a groove. And when you get into that groove in VR, like you seriously feel like Neo from the Matrix or something like that. Like it is such an engaging experience that you are like totally enthralled in when you are playing it. My problems with it stem, I think, with PlayStation VR more so than the actual game. And so that's where I'm like, that's where right now as I'm writing the review, I'm trying to figure out like how much I should knock the game and how much like my final score or final verdict on the game should be reflective of the game itself compared to the platform upon which it's on. And I guess because it is on PlayStation, like I would need to consider that heavily. I don't know. You can read my review. Like I said, it'll be live by this point. But the problem with PSVR is that this was really the first game that showed me how bad the tracking is on PSVR. I mean, I was playing the game in a dark room, lights off and lights off, shades shut, everything like that. And I have a decent sized play area. The PlayStation camera is not a good tracking device for the VR headset. Like, I think if you were going to play this game and you somehow have access to, I think it's on both Oculus and Vive, I'm not sure. I would say it's probably better on either of those in terms of tracking. Because I just really think the way in which PSVR operates was really hindered because the camera is not good with tracking, and the move controllers are kind of dated. And I was constantly having to recalibrate. I was constantly having to like readjust myself, and like I was losing a lot of times because the camera was losing me. And I think that part of the reason for that is because, like I said, this is the most engaging VR game I've played so far. Like, I was moving around all over the freaking place in this game, dude. Like, I'd say most of the VR games I've played so far have mainly been like, you're sitting in a cockpit, or you're sitting in a chair, or like easy things like that, where it's like, okay, like the VR can work well on PSVR with this because you're really not moving around. But in a game like this, where I am like dodging and ducking and weaving in and out of bullets and stuff like that are coming at me, and I'm like physically like walking all over the place to like pick up weapons or things like that, like it was losing me a lot, and I was getting really screwed up because of that. So it's hard because, like I said, when it works and when it works well, like that is easily, I think, my favorite game so far on PSVR within the first year of that thing being out on the market. I've not played anything like that ever in my life, but when it was screwing up, I was like getting beyond pissed off at it. So there's like, I don't know, it's hard because like this was really the first game that showed to me like, dang man, like this is some bare bones, barely held together VR that PlayStation has going here. And I still think it's a good product. Like, I'm not convinced of the product. Like, I think the headset and stuff is really well put together. It's just the tracking itself that is very bad. And that is what I was having problems with. Was it just like keeping up with me and where I was moving and where I was at while playing it. So that was like my biggest issue with it. Other than that, like if you have PSVR and you've been waiting for a good game, buy this. Like, it's $25, I think. Purchase it. Like, this is seriously, when it works, which is more often than not, honestly, too. Like, I'll say that as well. Like, it was not unplayable for me. Like, I finished the whole game in like one sitting. So it wasn't like super hard or anything. But when it was screwing up, it was very frustrating. But when it was working well, which was a majority of the time, it was like far and away my favorite experience I think I've had in VR so far. So if you have PSVR and you are looking for a new game, definitely pick this up.
Yeah. I played Super Hot on PC. I love that game. It's so good. And like, it's got such a weird story thing going on.
Yeah. It's pretty trippy, dude.
Yeah. It's super weird and super hot. So, I mean,
so me and Max were trying to figure out ahead of time, or I mean, I could have quick Google search this, but we were talking, I think last week or the week before, like, is this the same game? Because they also released the original Super Hot as well. It's definitely not, because this is built from the ground up for PSVR, and it's very obvious because your feet are tied to the floor for the most part. Like, you started in a spot in the VR version, and you are there. Like.
Yeah.
So like when you move in the game, the characters also move. I'm gonna assume when you played it on PC, it was when you would like move your character like a normal.
Yeah. If you move, or like if you do any sort of movement, like moving your gun, moving around, like walking around and stuff, that's when the players would move, or they move at a slower rate, I guess, at an extreme slower rate.
Yeah.
I've never played the VR one. I don't know how that. You're tied to the ground in the VR one.
Well, it starts you out in one spot. So you can't move you can move like within a certain radius within that spot, but you obviously can't run around the entire map. So from the ground up, it is a much, much different game.
Yeah. So yeah, in the normal one, you could totally move around.
Your movement is tied to your hands. So like when I'm moving my hands around, that is when time is moving, compared to when you would move like the left stick if you were playing on PlayStation and playing the original game. Then that's how time would move. Or if you were moving the right stick to look around, like that's how time would move in that, compared to me like moving my hands and stuff. So it's the same game, but it's a different experience. And I'm going to also assume that the level layouts and stuff like that are also vastly different because, like I said, it was designed from the ground up. I'm fairly certain for PSVR or for VR in general.
Yeah.
So same concept, same ideas, same core concept, just built differently. So they aren't the same game. Because that was the thing. Max is like, oh, I wish it was cross-buy. And then after I played it on PSVR, I was like, oh, it's not the same game. And that's like obvious to me now that they're very core different games. So
is the original one on PS4 now too?
Yeah, they brought the VR and the original game over as well. So it's now they're now both on PS4. I think you can. So it's $25 for each game, or you can do cross-buy, and it's $40 for them both.
Oh, okay.
Or not cross-buy, I guess, but you can get them both in a package
bundle.
for $40. Yeah. So yeah, cool. It's I mean, it was very nice to play with my VR headset, and I'll be honest too. Like, you unlock a lot of challenges after the game's over, and I'm wanting to go back into it. So I think that's good. Like, most of the VR games I finished, and I'm like, oh yeah, Until Dawn, this was fun. I will literally never play this again. Or Psychonauts, oh hey, that was a fun experience. Later, like, I'm not going to play you anymore. Like, you don't return to a lot of these VR games unless you're showing them off to your friends. Super Hot VR, though, I'm like, yo, totally want to dive back into that, like, right now. So that's a good thing, I think.
That's awesome.
Because I have not felt that way about many other VR games so far.
Yeah.
So, besides that, like I said, I was out of town this weekend. Brought my Switch with me. Played a ton of Mario Kart. Like, just a lot of Mario Kart, and it was against the computer too. I'm trying to get 3-star gold trophies
on all the
150cc courses. So
I think I'm close to that, and then I started doing the Mirror Cup right now. So I think I only have 2 of them that I need to get 3 stars in, and then I started doing Mirror Cup already. So
there is I think I've got 4 left, and I have done 2 of them, and I've done 3 of the 4, and then I always suck at Rainbow Road. Or I didn't even suck at Rainbow Road last night. I just like got totally screwed over. It was like I was rounding the corner at the last second. I was like, all right, cool, it ends in sight. Red shell came up. I did not have a banana or shell, and I got hit. All I had was a coin. I got hit. Somebody zoomed past me. I came in second. It was literally like the last second. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do this whole 4-race Grand Prix again.
That is what is kind of garbagey about that game. Like, that's the one thing I have a problem with, is that the whole like balancing of how they do their balancing of it is so. I mean, I get why they do it, but it's so bad at times where I have a huge lead. And should be no reason why I should lose this, and then you lose, and you're like, that makes no sense at all. Like, why did they do that? So
yeah, there'll be times where I'm looking back and I'm like, holy crap, I got a massive lead, and it's like, I block everything that comes at me too. I'm like, yeah, you can't hit me with that red shell. Aha, I got rid of that blue shell with my air horn. Like, all of these things, and then still somehow they'll catch up to me. I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever how you guys are catching up to me. But okay,
yeah,
that's fine. I mean, mushrooms or something, I guess, would be like the only way. But still, it's like, I don't know. It's just, it gets frustrating. The computer stuff is balanced, or facing off against the computer is also balanced very different from online, I've realized as well, because I keep bouncing between the two. So yeah, I don't know, dude. Mario Kart, I crapped on that game when it came out just because it was like, a stupid remaster or not even a remaster, stupid port of an old game. Who cares? But then it was like, oh, I like the Switch a lot compared to the Wii U, which I did not like. I always knew Mario Kart 8 was a good game. Now I am playing it more than I ever have before. It's like been one of my more favorite experiences, I think, that's come out this year. So it's been a ton of fun.
Mario Kart 8, best Mario Kart, for sure.
The 8 or Deluxe? Probably
Deluxe.
8. You think Deluxe is the superior version? Because I know you said you don't like the double items.
I don't, but like,
I don't like double items either. That's like still my only grievance with it. Max claims there's more strategy to double items, and I think that's like,
no, there's not.
I think
it's about the same amount of strategy.
I think there's less strategy. The only thing there's ever really strategy with is if you get a coin, it's smart to hold on to the coin until you hit another item box, because then it ensures that you will not get another coin.
Yeah,
and like, that's about the only time where there's like a little bit of strategy to it.
But there's not. Like, there's hardly strategy to Mario Kart except for the whole trying to figure out when to stay in second so then you don't get hit with blue shells and then going. Like, that's really the only strategy there is.
It's just all about item management and stuff, yeah. So, So yeah, but that's about all I've been playing so far. Hopefully, we'll get into a couple of. I don't know. Hopefully, I'll have finished up Nier by the next time we record. We'll see how that goes. But yeah. A lot of good things out right now. Pyre's out tomorrow as well. I don't know if you're interested in that.
Oh, I forgot.
That's out tomorrow. Reviews came out earlier today for that, and they are very positive. Surprise, surprise. So that's out tomorrow. I'm thinking of...
That's Supergiant, right?
Yeah, I need to draw a line at some point with the games, but I'm like I'm so in this mindset right now where it's like, especially with indie games, where it's like, if you like the game, buy the game because it supports them. And I really... really like Supergiant, like a lot.
Yeah, and I love Supergiant.
I almost want to buy it just to support them more so than like play the game right this moment. I'm dying to play the game, so it's not like a pity purchase or something like that.
Yeah,
but I really like Supergiant. I think their whole team was very nice, and I mean, to say this, like, no, it wasn't even that. Like, I had a meeting with them last year at PlayStation Experience.
Yeah.
I didn't really talk to anyone too in depth there, but everybody who I did speak to was nice. So it was just like, they're nice guys, and like that was like one of my favorite games from the show last year that we played. Because I remember I brought you back, and I was like, dude, we need to check out multiplayer because this game's awesome. And so
and we were playing it, and it was great. I loved it.
Multiplayer's really good in that game. So yeah. Sip of coffee. That's about everything we've been playing then. So I guess let's get into the news. So we've already talked about Telltale.
Yes.
There's a couple other things we're going to run down here. And there's one thing dealing with next month that we will get into here shortly. A couple quick pieces, though. So I figured we'd bring this up. I figured I'd bring this up mainly because you're on the show. Starfire has been revealed as the next playable character for Injustice 2. She's coming in August. Everybody's been dying for her to be in the game. It felt like it was obvious that she was going to get in it at some point.
Starfire's cool, right? Like, she's a cool character, but like, why would everybody be dying to have Starfire in the game?
I don't know, because she's a hot orange alien chick.
I was dying for Swamp Thing. We got that though. That to me, like, is something worth dying for. But like, Starfire, like, is cool, but I'd rather, like, there are other characters.
I like the obscure characters that they put in it. Like you said, Swamp Thing is kind of obscure, but also kind of he's pretty obscure to put in a DC fighting game, I guess. Like, I would like to see like
Atrocitus is in there. Like, that's crazy. That's weird.
Cool, I would really like to see some like obscure bad guys that could have some really cool movesets. Like, for some reason, the one that's coming straight to the top of my head right now is like Mirror Master. Mirror Master would be awesome. I would love to see how they could create like a moveset with that guy. Like, he'd be jumping in and out of mirrors all over the place. It'd be cool, dude. Like,
that'd be kind of cool.
You could probably create a cool character out of him. I don't know. Like, there's so many villains, or not villains,
Mixaplix or whatever.
Mr. Mixaspitlick.
Yeah.
You throw him in the game. That would actually be awesome. Yeah, they should do that. I mean, there's a lot of people that they could pull from in the DC universe that it would be cool to see in there. Starfire is pretty straightforward. I do agree with you, but she's also like,
she's a fan favorite for sure.
Yeah, she's a fan favorite. She's Teen Titan. I mean, so you got her and Robin in the game. Is Cyborg in it, I think?
Cyborg is in it.
So then you got them, and then, I mean, it makes sense. Beast Boy's not in it, is he? Is he not?
No.
He's not been in either of them.
He's not in it. But that's another rumored one that supposedly cool. One of the shadows looks like it or whatever. I don't know.
Beast Boy would be dope. Isn't Raiden one of them? Or Raiden, whatever his name is from Mortal Kombat. Isn't he supposed to be one of the
I think
DLC
he's supposed
characters?
to be one of them.
Yeah, I think he's the last one. And I think there's 4. So there's one more in between Starfire and Raiden.
Yeah. I don't know who that would be. I don't know. I just wish... I don't really like Injustice 2, I think.
Really? I thought you did.
I do it.
And then you played Tekken?
After I played Tekken, it is no longer a good fighting game to me. I don't know. I've said it before. Like, I think Mortal Kombat's fighting... Like, I think it's easy to go into, but hard to master. I think it's one of those games, right? Where, you can't just... Anybody can go and play that game, especially since, they have characters that everybody knows and loves, especially with Injustice, like... Everybody knows DC superheroes. So that's what's cool about it. But, like, I don't like the competitive stuff on it. Because once it's one of those games where once somebody figures it out online, they are insane. It is dumb. You cannot fight anybody. And also, specifically with Injustice 2, like, they have the whole gear system. So when you're fighting online, there could be somebody that's your level, but they have better gear. So they have an advantage on you. Whereas, like, if you play, like, a normal fighting game, everything's balanced, kind of.
Well,
there might be
certain
characters that aren't balanced, but like for the most part, it's a balanced playing field. That's why I like Tekken a lot, because it is a balanced playing field, and I don't feel like everything's unfair. When I would play Injustice, I felt like the battlefield was not like it just wasn't. It didn't feel balanced because of the gear stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of fighting games as a whole within like year one of release nowadays. Like, you look at a lot of games like Street Fighter had some balancing issues, I'm fairly certain, out of the gate. Maybe not as much Street Fighter. Street Fighter is probably a bad example because they know how to balance theirs a little bit closer. Injustice is a good one, but again, the gear system kind of throws everything off. I do remember when Injustice 2 came out, though, and everybody online was playing as Deadshot, because I remember there was like some insane combo you could pull off with him, and like everybody who was like really good at the game's like, oh, okay, I'll be Deadshot, because Deadshot is the best character in this game. It takes a while at this point, I think, for developers to really balance the game to like the perfect degree, to where it's not just like, okay, the best character is this guy. Like, I remember when Smash on Wii U came out, and it was like Diddy Kong is way too freaking powerful right now. Like, you could destroy anybody with Diddy Kong. Now that game's fairly balanced, but like you look back at Melee, everybody who plays in Melee tournaments 95% of the time plays as Star Fox. Like, that is, anytime you watch a Melee tournament, it is always Star Fox versus Star Fox, because that is the most powerful character in the game that everybody has figured out. Or like, his speed to go along with his power is just like unmatched by any other character in the game. So if you play as anyone else, you more often than not are going to lose in that game. So I mean, with current games, how they kind of live is like they're living products at this point in time. I think it takes a while for people developers to iron out those bugs, and they think they might have a polished and balanced game upon release, and then they realize, oh no, it's been out for 24 hours and the community has already figured out everything wrong with this. And so, I don't know, Injustice to a year from now might be way different than it is now. But you're right, the gear system does kind of ruin it.
I think the gear system is...
It's just...
I think it makes it different. I think it's a cool idea. If I had started like from the beginning, I think I would have been more into it. But I just fell out of it a little bit. But yeah, like I went back into it and tried playing. I'm like, I can't beat anybody. And then I would compare like my power towards them, and they're like way more powerful than I am. I'm like, well, this isn't fair at all. I'm going to totally lose this, because one hit from them is more than one hit from me, kind of thing. Or at least it felt that way. I'm not sure if that's exactly how it is, but I just didn't like that idea. Like, I wish the online play was more like you don't have the gear or stuff like that. Or you could pick like to have one with gear and one without gear or something like that.
Something like that would probably do a lot better for the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think most people think it's a solid game. It's just, I don't know. I think you're also so far into Tekken right now that anything else pales in comparison, dude.
Tekken is so good. I love it so much.
You've talked about it so much that you're making me want to get it on like Black Friday when it's like $20 or something like that. Like,
yeah,
I might look into it down the road like that, because it has been a very long time since I have played a fighting game, and especially a 3D fighting game in the way that Tekken is played. So
I will say that after Evo, I went back and played it too, and a lot of people got better, and now I'm not as good. So
because they watched Evo and they're like, oh, so that's how you fight.
Oh, okay, so that's how you play in Tekken. So yeah, people figured it out, because Tekken's all about like waiting till somebody messes up and then hitting them and then doing your combo. That's what that game's all about. So I mean, I love it. I still love it even when I lose a lot. I just always want to be like, I could do it. I could keep on going, and I don't, but it's still fun. So
yeah.
Let's
also, we wouldn't have normally probably talked about this, but I figured since you're on the show, we may as well. Doom. Yeah. 2016 Doom got a massive update. What all is included in this? So I've got the...
I think there's like very little story stuff. There's like it's everything. It's all the DLC. So it's all the shorten this. It's pretty much just all the DLC that comes with it. So there's some more multiplayer stuff than anything. I think there's one like story thing.
So from what I'm reading, this new update unlocks all current DLC for the game, and it all becomes free. So every piece of DLC that they've released for the game is now available through an update.
Yep.
This update is called 6.66 because, of course it is, because it's Doom. So you have all the old DLC, which is now free. There's also a lot of changes to the multiplayer component of Doom, which, like, who cares, I guess. Like, I know neither of us do.
Doom multiplayer wasn't the best.
Yeah, it was
fine.
It was what it was.
Yeah.
And then, so they've got everything is free now, which is cool. The entire game is together. It's also like $15 now, right?
Yeah, because of the update, they like lowered the price on all systems. I believe.
I think that's through this week as well.
Yeah,
So
for anybody who has not played Doom, this is all I wanted to say for this update. Buy the shit out of that game. It is so good. It is the best game I think I have played this generation, for me personally, because I like shooters, and I think just as like a game, like it's just well developed. It is so tight and it's so well done. Like there's no game I think has been as well done as Doom has, because like from a design standpoint, from how it plays, like there's no shortage of frames here. It is like 120 frames per second every time you play it. And it doesn't matter what's on the screen. There's like hundreds of enemies on screen and nothing slows down. It is just everything about that game is so good.
And it's very much Doom at the same time, which is what's cool.
And that's the crazy thing too, is that like, you know, Bethesda's been on this like tear with like taking old properties like Wolfenstein and like what was it? They did Quake, which I played a little bit of.
Quake Champions,
the new one, yeah. And that's just another Quake. I mean, it plays just like the other ones. Like they're taking these old properties and like making new versions of them and keeping what makes, like, for example, Doom. Like keeping what makes Doom Doom. They're doing that, but like revitalizing it and making it their own. And it's every time it's so good. And Doom, I think, has been like the best one. So I would love to see another Doom if they do that. But, like, yeah, it's just so good. I can't recommend that game enough. Like, it is so good. $15 for that game is a steal for anybody, like, wanting to play that.
Yeah, so, like, I still don't own it. But, I mean, I've played it, obviously.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite games last year. I need to pick it up. Like, I honestly might snag it before week's end in this sale. Because I just need to have it in my library. Same with Wolfenstein The New Order. Like, I don't own that game either.
Yeah.
And it's like, I should probably just own that. I should probably purchase that game. Like, there's some games that's like I get rid of and I like don't bat an eye and I don't care. Doom, I rented, and then it's so good that I would just like to have that game moving forward, because I have had itches to play it at certain periods of time over the past couple months, and it'd be something I might pop in every now and then. It's like I might get it on. Too.
Yeah, I want to get it on PC because that's the only platform I haven't played it on yet. So I want to play it on
probably
PC.
Pretty good there if I had to guess.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it'd probably be the best way to play. But you
know,
know,
I'll probably pick it up. Max should pick it up too, but he will not because he's a stupid idiot.
Oh my God, Max, you stupid idiot! Buy Doom. It is so good.
He's still got as of just like a month ago, finally purchased Shadow of Mordor.
Oh man, it was like $5. No, it was $4. I'm sorry.
Wolfenstein: The New Order. He never played either of those games. Also, how dumb is it that Max has never played Shadow of Mordor, even though his Twitter handle, Max the White, he all the time claims is a Lord of the Rings reference.
Now we know it's not.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not a Lord of the Rings reference.
Lord of the Rings. No, we all know what it is. We're not going to mention it here because this is a PG show.
This is a PG show. If you want to hear our rated R show, listen to the Model Citizen show. We'll tell you all about Max's racial dealings.
His extracurricular activities, we'll call it.
We'll tell you all about that on that show. Yeah, but the dude's like in love with Lord of the Rings. He's never played Shadow of Mordor. I was like, how does that make sense, Max?
I don't even like Lord of the Rings.
I don't like Lord of the Rings.
I
bought that game on day one.
Yeah.
I played that game through in like 5 days, and I was like, holy crap, that was really good.
When I was on my other website, when it was just me, I actually I beat that game in like 2 days, and I reviewed it. So
it's freaking good.
It's so good. I love it. It's beautiful. It's like Assassin's Creed and Arkham. Like an Arkham game put together. It's great. I love it.
New one's amazing. I played the new one for like 2 hours, and it's freaking baller as can be, dude. I cannot wait for that. Max, you don't like Lord of the Rings as much as you're letting on. Just letting you know.
It's all lies.
I guess the last big story, so we've got a couple other news stories we're going to go through in a second, but I'm kind of grouping them all together. The last big one for the week, though, and this is a big deal. So over at Bioware, over at my beloved Bioware, they're making a big change within their team. So if you're not familiar, Casey Hudson will be returning to BioWare. He previously served as their general manager of the studio, and then he eventually ended up leading. He oversaw tons of projects while he was at BioWare. I know he oversaw the entire Mass Effect trilogy, and I want to say he oversaw KOTOR as well when they did that, but I am not 100% about KOTOR. He was at BioWare for a really freaking long time, and he was one of the key reasons, I think, why they did so well as a company for so long. He left 3 years ago, though, and he is now returning to serve as the general manager of the studio. Aaron Flynn, who has been the general manager of the studio up until this point, is leaving. He was not fired or anything like that. He just was leaving the company, and I think Casey Hudson decided to come back and fill that role because he knew Aaron Flynn was leaving. So Aaron Flynn is out, and Casey Hudson is back in over at BioWare. And Casey Hudson, of course, he will now be overseeing Anthem, which is the next big project from BioWare, which we saw a little bit of at E3. So if you're not really familiar with like the developer side of things, I will, as a BioWare fanboy to a certain degree, let me just be like, not probably the first to say this, but like the 15th at this point. This is a big deal. Like, this is a really big deal for BioWare moving forward and kind of getting them back on track where they need to be, because, and I see, here's the thing, is it's a weird situation because they're coming off of Andromeda, which was really lackluster in a lot of people's minds, and Aaron Flynn was the one who saw that over, but that was not Aaron Flynn's fault, that entire...
Did Aaron Flynn oversee the Dragon Age Inquisition too?
I think he might have, yes.
Because I mean, that kind of like, in some ways, I don't like talking shit, but like, I mean, there's definitely a difference between like that time, because right with the one right before that was Mass Effect 3. Am I wrong, from BioWare?
I think that's correct. Yes.
Like the last two games that they've had were Inquisition and then Mass Effect Andromeda, and then they have the Old Republic or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, just from those two games alone, I thought Inquisition was not good. Like, it was fine. Like, I didn't like the story stuff that they were doing with it, and that's different. But like, I also didn't like how it was very not technically sound. Like, there was a lot of glitches that were game breaking for me, at least when I was playing it. Like, it straight up, the game straight up broke when I played, and I was like, I don't want to play this game at all. And it kind of showed even with, I guess, Mass Effect Andromeda. I haven't played it, but a lot of people were saying, like, the facial animations, there's, like, GIFs about that stuff, or, like, just how the game looks in general, like, and even the story of it, too, like, people just don't like. And I think it kind of shows, I guess, because right before that, I mean, Mass Effect 3, say what you will, I think it was pretty decent, and, you know, there's anything before that.
I have my
favorites.
Yeah, so. I have my issues with Mass Effect 3, but I know it is not a bad game, like, by any stretch. For the record, by the way, Casey Hudson served as the director of Knights of the Old Republic, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and then he ended up leaving the company after that. He also helped put out Jade Empire back on Xbox.
Dude, so, Jade Empire is so good.
So, I mean, there's a certain amount of bias with his return for me. I'm not really bias, I guess.
It's not.
Knights of the Old Republic and the Mass Effect trilogy are two of my favorite games ever. Like, those four games are up in like my all-timers list. I group the Mass Effect trilogy together as just one giant thing at this point in time.
Mass Effect 1 is like one of my favorite games of all time.
So I mean, I group all of those together. So Mass Effect, the original trilogy, and then Knights of the Old Republic, those are two of my favorites ever. And Hudson oversaw both of them as director. So his return now to oversee pretty much not pretty much, to run day-to-day ops of Bioware, I think is a really good thing for them moving forward, because, and we've heard about it over the past couple months or so, but it seems like there's been some internal problems with the company. Again, less about, because I don't think Aaron Flynn did a bad job either. Like, the thing about Aaron Flynn too was that he didn't serve, if I'm correct, as he was not director of Mass Effect Andromeda, so he was not the creative director on that game or anything like that. In fact, I know he was not creative director on that game. He just served as the studio's GM for a while there. And I tried to look up here what projects he's worked on. I couldn't find specifics. Just a quick Google search. He's worked alongside Hudson, though, on Mass Effect and on Knights of the Old Republic. But he was never directing the games like Hudson was. This is good for them, though. And this makes me happy because they have been, like you said, I really liked Inquisition, but I know and I think a lot of people liked it when it launched as well. And then 6 to 8 months after it came out, there's a sudden backlash.
For me,
I guess The Witcher came out, I guess is what happened.
That's true. The thing about Inquisition was that I was liking it when I was playing it, and then I figured that the game didn't really start until you played 20 hours in.
Yeah.
It didn't actually start. And then I don't know. And then the story was getting weird and I didn't really like it. And then there'd be multiple times where the game would break on me and I'm like, I'm just not having a good experience. And maybe other people did have a good experience and they did like it. And that's awesome that people did have that experience. That's not the experience that I had. I did think the world was cool and everything that they were doing in it was really cool. I liked the gameplay that they were doing with that too. The whole, bringing it back and doing, you do this and you do this, picking people up and saying, oh, attack this thing, or you attack this thing instead. I liked that idea.
I think the gameplay loop just kept me busy more so than, the actual, story kept me engaged. I just enjoyed playing that game and leveling up my characters and stuff like that more than I did anything else.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I think the gameplay of that game was great. It's just the technical side of it was just so bad in my experience that I just couldn't play it anymore. So I stopped playing. And I played 30 or 40 hours of that game. I did not just throw it away after a while.
I think I played 100, 110 or something like that.
Yeah, I played a lot. So it's not I just
you gave it.
I gave it a chance.
Shake,
I was like, I still want to play this.
You probably could have gotten close to beating it in that amount of time.
Exactly.
If you just beeline the story.
Yeah. And then Andromeda, I still want to play it.
That's the thing. I'm going to go back to it at some point as well.
I think I'll play it. It's gotten updates and everything, so it should be fixed and everything. If the story isn't the greatest, that's fine. If the gameplay's the same as other Mass Effects, though, I could be down with that, and I'll be happy.
You can customize your character a lot more in the game. It was just the story stuff and the exploration. There was just a lot of things that were not clicking with me. It was less about the bugs and the graphics and all that stuff. It was just this is not Mass Effect to me.
Yeah.
It's Mass Effect in name, but what I played for those 8 hours, I was like, yo, this is not Mass Effect. I don't know what this is, but it's not Mass Effect.
I'm all about sci-fi stuff, so I don't care what the name is, as long as I go in space and shoot stuff, I'm totally cool. Yeah. And if the story is somewhat intriguing in some sort of way, I'll probably be down with it. Look, I liked Aliens Colonial Marines, all right? I thought that was an okay game.
Then you'll be fine. You'll probably be fine.
I'll probably be fine.
I will get back to Andromeda though. I am such a big fan of BioWare. I'm such a big fan of Mass Effect. I owe it to myself to play that game, but it's just hard when there's 1,000 other things out right now that are fighting for my attention.
That's the other thing too.
Maybe Christmas break or something like that. I know that's kind of far ahead, but that's where I'm looking right now, where it's
honestly,
after I have a break and maybe I can just sit down and think for a little while, maybe I'll finally go back to that one.
Here's the thing. I think the gaming lull is now, even though there's games coming out, it's a lot of smaller games. And I think the lull is right now. And then once you hit September, it's just I
actually, on a personal level, the lull will be September for me because I'm not going to be getting Destiny. I will be getting NBA 2K and Cuphead in September, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
So,
I do want to get NBA 2K, but I also want to get WWE 2K, and I told myself, I'm only getting one 2K game, it's got to be WWE, you know? So, and I always get the NBA. I say it now that I'm not going to get it. Probably going to get it. I love the NBA games. I get them every year. So.
Yeah, you probably will. You'll cave.
Yeah.
I think this is good for Bioware. I'm far more interested in Anthem now moving forward. I'm still hesitant on the core game itself, just because I know I'm not a Destiny guy, and I'm like, this kind of looks like it has a lot of the same ideas as Destiny. But
my first impression of it, I thought it was like a single player game, and then I think like a second trailer came out, and it was very much multiplayer. I'm like, I'm not a multiplayer guy. Yeah, like I just don't.
That's my problem as well. So we'll see. I still have concerns with not the game. Like I think the game looks great. It's just like, I don't know if this is a game for me, and that's the dilemma. Is I know I don't play games like that very much. Loot-based multiplayer. I don't want to call it a shooter because it's not really a shooter.
I guess I say I'm playing. Like I'm not into multiplayer games, and then I'm playing Destiny. But like
Destiny, yeah.
I play Destiny alone, which is probably not the way to play it. But I just like I like the shooting, and I like the gameplay of it so much that I don't mind doing strikes with random people and not talking to them. So
yeah, we'll see how it turns out. But I'm excited for BioWare moving forward. This is I think the kind of rejuvenation that I think the studio needed after its name had started to get dragged through the mud the past couple months. So I'm very, very excited. This is good news for them moving forward. So
I agree. Yeah,
I'm
for sure
happy. Michael, you kind of actually naturally segued us into what I want to talk about next. So there's a couple other news stories, like I said, but they're all release date related. And so you think the lull is now. I disagree with you. I think this is an insane next month all of a sudden, when up until these past 2 weeks or so, it was really not an insane month. So this past week, we got release dates for Windjammers, which is coming to PS4 and Vita on August 29th. We have Undertale, which I have not played yet because I do not have a PC, or I have not bothered to purchase it for my Mac or whatever. That will be coming to PlayStation 4 and Vita on August 15th. Okay. And then Patapon Remastered is coming to PS4 on August 1st. So those were just some release date announcements we got this past week. I want to run over August. I want to starting tomorrow with Pyre. I want to run over with you what we have beginning with Pyre this week through the end of August, or through I guess we'll say through early September.
Okay.
And I want to know which of these, Destiny aside, because I guess Destiny will book in this list, which ones you're looking forward to and which ones you're wanting, because I think there is... I said I was happy you were on this episode because a lot of these games you and me checked out at PSX last year.
Yeah.
And they just all happen to be landing right now, strangely enough. So it's weird. But so we've got Pyre this week. Next week, we have Tacoma. How are you feeling about Tacoma?
Oh my god, dude. I totally forgot that's coming out.
That's next week, yeah.
Holy balls. Okay, yeah, I love Gone Home. So... yeah, I'm going to play that game.
There's Tacoma. We've got that. And then we've got, after that, we have, on August 8th, we have Lawbreakers. And then we also have Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. I don't know how much you've paid attention to Hellblade at all.
So, I mean, I the trailers that they've been coming out with, I think it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And, like, I am interested to play that game. I do not know if I'm going to play it the day it comes out.
Yeah, same
but
here.
I will totally play that game. Lawbreakers looks really cool. Like, same thing, looks really cool. That I'm not sure if I'll play.
Yeah,
like, Hellblade I will probably play, but Lawbreakers looks awesome, and it's just, I'm not, like I said before, I'm not a huge multiplayer guy, and there's only so much of that kind of game that I could play, and like Destiny might take that over, or maybe, some other game will, but yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking for the same kind of thing with me on Hellblade. Like, I've only seen a little bit, but what I've seen I'm interested in. I will wait for reviews, and I have a couple of friends who I know who are going to be getting that game, and I'll ask them about it. I also think it's
game.
I think it's only like $20 or $30 too.
I think
so
it's 30.
Like, yeah, I think it is. That sounds right.
I mean, it's Ninja Theory too, like, right? It's Ninja Theory.
Yes, it is Ninja Theory.
And like, I recently, like, they have been making just great game after great game every time, dude. Like, they're combat stuff is great.
They
like I loved the new DMC when they did that, and I did play Disney. What is it? The figure thing.
Oh, Disney Infinity.
Yeah, I did play that.
Yeah, I played that as well. I played 3.0.
And they did the combat for that too. And,
yeah, that was good. I like
everything that's just been coming out by them is. Did they do Nier?
No, that was Platinum.
Oh, Platinum.
Yeah, that was Platinum and Square.
Oh, yeah, it was Platinum and Square. Yeah,
yeah,
because you could fight their CEOs or something like that.
Their CEOs in the game. Did you hear that mentioned on the Bombcast?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it for like the past year that you could do that. So yeah, it seems ridiculous, but it sounds awesome.
I'm vaguely interested in Hellblade. Lawbreakers, I will be playing that. I will be playing Lawbreakers. On the 15th, get this, dude. We've got Agents of Mayhem, Matterfall, Nidhogg 2, Sonic Mania, and Undertale.
Well, Undertale's great.
So we've got all of those on the same day.
So Matterfall I will buy because I love that studio. I really like Nidhogg when we played there. Like that was, I think, one of my games of the show.
Same here.
That it was just really fun. I got rocked every time by you, but yeah, I thought it was a really fun game.
I got rocked by you in something we played. It was Pyre. I think
Pyre.
You rocked me in Pyre.
Yeah, Pyre I was doing pretty decent.
But I did pretty decent against you in the talk. That day's insane, and I want 5 games that come out that day, so God help my wallet. The following week on the 22nd, we've got Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
Oh, dang it, dude. That's a $40 game.
It is. I pre-ordered it earlier. I had a $15 Amazon voucher, so I got it for $15 after my discount and all that stuff. So I'm excited for that one. Madden is the 25th, and then the 29th, we've got Absolver. We have Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and Everybody's Golf, and then Windjammers. And the Yakuza Kiwami, which is the remaster of the first Yakuza.
Okay.
So that's all on the 29th.
I will play Windjammers. Probably. I will... What else was it? Mario Rabbids I decided I'm not going to get yet.
I will be getting that game for 100% certainty. I will be purchasing that game.
I want to get it. It looks really good. I am surprised how good it looks. It looks awesome. It looks fun. And then what was the first game that you said?
Absolver.
I played that at PSX. And it's fun. I actually like the idea of that one more than I'm going to say For Honor because it's the most analogous thing. Because it is one-on-one combat with the whole dueling thing and stuff like that. And I like the fact that it's one-on-one and not a bunch of people at one room. Because I like the idea of a one-on-one scenario, doing that kind of stuff. Because it's more strategical that way. It's not we're not going to have some random guy rush in and then kill me and then have both of them beat me up. But yeah, I had a fun time playing that game at PSX. It's not something that stood out when I played it, but it was fine. The art style of it is interesting and weird. But yeah, it was fine. I thought it was pretty decent.
The 31st, we have Life is Strange, the Prologue series with that 3-episode series.
All right, dude.
I'm not really sold on that, but we'll see how
did you play Life is Strange?
Yeah, I did.
I love that game.
I don't think it needed a prequel series. That's my problem. A sequel would have been better. I don't... what kind of ground are they going to cover here? I felt like... It's just weird. Sometimes I think people go overboard with prequels and stuff like that.
I think it's... Because, I mean... Did the game lend itself to be a sequelized? Could it...
No, but I mean, they could have done something unique, I mean, with the whole time travel element of that game, you could always screw with something...
I was hoping that they just pick a canonical ending, just say this is gonna be it.
That's more often than not what you have to do with those kind of games, anyway.
But yeah, the prequel thing is weird, and I don't know if are they gonna have the time traveling stuff? Can they do that?
I don't know. I haven't really paid too much attention to it, if I'm being honest.
I love Life is Strange, and I liked it because the characters. The time traveling stuff is awesome too. I dig that. I'm all into time traveling stories. It was also super sad, and I love sad stuff. But
that's why we listen to grunge music.
Well, I listen to the Cure and the Smiths and stuff. So that's Joy Division. It's a whole other level of sadness. But anyway,
and then that's it. That's it for August. I mean, the following week we've got Knack 2 and Destiny, but that's other stuff.
Well, Knack 2, obviously the game to get that week.
I mean, so from here to the end of August, like I think there's a ton that is coming out that interests me. I don't know.
I think from like a general standpoint, I don't think there's a lot there that will... Because not a lot of people are into indie games, like maybe how you and I are.
Because I like Mario and Rabbids and Uncharted and like
that's true,
Hellblade and Lawbreakers. Like those are kind of some of those are indie releases still, but they're like more noteworthy. Like Lawbreakers is a Cliff Bleszinski game. Like
that's true.
That dude is like one of the biggest names in our industry.
Or even like Hellblade. Hellblade's like a spiritual successor to
Heavenly Sword.
Heavenly Sword, and it looks really good for like a $30 game.
Yeah, that game's been on like Game Informer covers a couple months ago and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're like, even though they kind of are more indie games, like they're still like pretty marquee titles and they're all also not $60, which is kind of cool. Like Lawbreakers is $30, Hellblade's $30, Uncharted's $40. Mario and Rabbids is really the only $60 like. Game
that's what I'm saying. Is that like
out
I
of the
think
ones
that
we mentioned at least.
Like I said, for like a general like public standpoint, like not looking at it as people who are like really looking into like the industry and all that stuff like that. Like if my cousin or something like that were to go and look at these games that are out, they'd probably be like, Mario Rabbids looks okay, but Rabbids are stupid, right? Like that's what they're gonna say. They're not gonna like look at the trailer and be like, oh, this looks cool. It looks like XCOM for kids, which sounds amazing. But like, I think generally, I don't think people are going to be really interested in some of this stuff because they just don't know it, because they don't know the studios. Like they don't know like Housemarque is coming out with a new game. That to them does not excite them, you know.
Whereas
or
like you and me, it does.
You know what I mean? Like Housemarque's coming out with a new game. Hell yeah, that sounds amazing. Or you know, like saying that there's a new Ninja Theories thing, like because they always make good beat 'em ups and stuff like that. That sounds awesome. Like not a lot of people, I think generally are like into that. I think more people are getting to that because a lot of people are like with the Call of Duties. I think that's like the first time when people think about that. Like there's just 3 companies and there's the one that you like a lot of people like Black Ops, and that's Treyarch all the time, every single time they make that game. So people have their like choices in that. I think that's like their like door into that kind of mindset, but for the most part I don't think people are like that, you know.
It's just, I mean, it's hard because like you said, like there are certain games on this list that stand out to us that it's like I really want to play that.
Dude, like Tacoma, like that's amazing. Yeah. But nobody's gonna be like, oh, the guy who like they won't know that the guy who made Gone Home made that game.
People who are like really into games will know that, but like normal consumers won't. Yeah, I get that, but like like those of us who are like very hardcore into this stuff, I mean, and maybe it's just me. Like maybe all of these are just specifically games I've looked forward to for a long time. But dude, I've been looking forward to Pyre since we played it last year at PSX. I've been looking forward to Tacoma because I think Steve Gaynor is a really smart dude and I like his games. I have been looking forward to Lawbreakers for years just because I think Cliff is a really creates some fantastic titles with like
on like a design level. That game looks really cool.
Yeah,
like, that's the only reason why I want to play that game. Like,
I've played it. Like it's a ton of fun. Like it is a good. Like it's doing new things that I haven't seen in the multiplayer space, which is cool. And then like again, like Matterfall we have heard about since 2015, and it's finally out. Like I've wanted to play that game forever. Nidhogg I have thought about since you and I played it at PSX. Like, and I know you wrote it off, but dude, like maybe my most anticipated game on this upcoming slate is Sonic Mania. Like, and
I'm just not a Sonic guy. That's the thing.
And the thing is, like, I can accept that Sonic games aren't the best. It's just like nostalgic glasses for me on that one. Like, I want it because of that.
That's how I'm gonna be with. Isn't there like a new Toe Jam and Earl coming out?
I think, but it looks real bad, dude. It looks like so bad. Like the character designs are different and stuff like that. If I'm correct. So
I mean, that was I don't know, like a same level of Tekken was that for me, because I mean, I played a lot of Tekken as a kid, so I can understand it.
I mean, that's how I feel about that. It's just like, dude, holy crap, a Sonic game in the same vein as the ones I was playing when I was 3. I want this. Yeah. Like,
you know, I talk a lot of shit about Sonic, but I like the first one. I just don't think Sonic is as good of a game as people say it is.
I mean,
that's all I'm.
We will, when we go back to them, Max and myself, we will talk about. When I go back to them and Max plays them for the first time, we'll see how they are. Personally, I do not think they are fantastic gameplay wise. To me, it is more about the aesthetic of the world with how it is laid out, how it is designed, the way the colors pop, and more than anything, the soundtrack. The soundtrack.
The soundtrack is Sonic games really good.
Good, dude.
Yeah, and I will say that like the sense of speed with Sonic that it gives you like is pretty incredible. Like that's the reason why I think that game is kind of cool. But the problem with it is that you can't. It's hard to like keep that speed going when like randomly something hits you and you're like, oh, now where do I go? And then you keep on trying to go to certain spots and it doesn't work. I'm like, well,
the dudes who are developing this have played all the old ones too, so like they know what makes a good Sonic game and what doesn't.
So, like I said, like I hated Crash Bandicoot. I still don't like Crash Bandicoot, but I still played them. Will I probably play Sonic Mania? Yeah, because it's it's something that I think I should know. Like I should know how this game is, and I'll probably buy it, honestly. But
again, look at that. Just that one day for me, it's Sonic Mania, Nidhogg 2, Matterfall, and Undertale. Yeah. Dude, I have talked about Undertale for literally years. I wanted a new Sonic game for literally years. I've heard about Matterfall for literally years. And then Nidhogg, I guess I was really not turned on to until PSX. But it's almost been a year since we've played that, I guess. Or getting close, December, whatever.
Nidhogg 2 is real cool.
It's like a weird 4 games on that one day that it's like, holy crap, why is this all coming out at once?
Yeah. So I agree with you.
It's just like there's not enough time. I've already got, my backlog is already piled to the roof as it is. I don't know.
I'll definitely get Pyre tomorrow for sure, because I love Supergiant. So.
Probably will too. I'm leaning towards it, honestly. If you could pick one game though that stands out on this list, what are you gonna grab?
Hard. I'll honestly, it's between Tacoma and Pyre probably. Gone Home is one of the best games I think that has come out within the past 10 years. I love that game. I think it's really cool, and I think
it's a tad bit overrated, but I can respect it.
Well, I think it set the barometer for that kind of game, like what those kinds of games should be. And I like those experiences. I think they're cool and different. And I know some people don't consider them video games, but I mean, I don't know. That's a whole other discussion.
I really like walking simulators, and I've talked about Gone Home before, but I think my only problem with it is that I was 3/4 of the way into it, and I was like, yo, I'm totally convinced this is ghosts or demons, or I was so honed in on the scary stuff where I was like, dude, this is totally what it is. This is totally what it is. And then I'm crawling up to the attic. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And they're like, no, it's just lesbians. I'm like, oh man, I thought there was going to be a demon up here. This sucks.
No, that's what I loved about it though, is that that build up, dude, it's only 2 hours for that hour and a half that you're playing it. When you go into that side panel by the stair set and there's just this demon stuff, pentagrams and stuff. I'm like, what is going on in this place? You're so invested in it. And I hope he does the same thing. Obviously not demon stuff with Tacoma, but I hope he figures out a way to keep you invested in that story, because I had not been really I played that game it's only 2 hours, but that entire 2 hours I was just interested in every single thing that was happening with that. So I hope it's the same thing with Tacoma for sure.
It just didn't click with me the way, with some people Greg Miller's talked about it so eloquently, where he's it starts out and you think it's this horror thing, but all of a sudden midway through, this story of these two people starts grabbing you and stuff like that. To me it was yo, I don't care about your personal lives. Tell me more of this demon stuff. What the heck was our grandpa doing? What the heck was he doing dealing with the occult? What is going on in this house? And then it was so it was the reverse for me, where it was I was invested in the thing that was supposed to be distracting me, whereas it was supposed to subtly be bringing in all this other stuff, which some people got more attached to. But to me, it was no, yo, what is up with that? What is up with that right there? And then by the end of the game, it was oh. It was about this other thing the whole time, this thing that I wasn't really paying too much attention to.
That's why bringing Gone Home in space, I'm wondering what crazy stuff's going to happen, dude, with aliens and stuff. It's going to be super weird.
Alien lesbians. That's what it's
going to be. Alien lesbians.
That's what it'll be.
Yeah. But I would say the two are Pyre and Tacoma, I think.
For me, I mentioned Sonic Mania. I'm really looking forward to that game, dude, just for happy, warm feelings inside of me. To just make me feel good. On a real level, games that I'm legit hyped to play, I'm not even freaking kidding with you. I am so excited for Mario and Rabbids, dude. That game is so good.
Dude, it looks awesome. And it was on my pre-order list, but planning weddings and stuff. I need to cut some of the games that I wanted to get. And
I played
that
it.
was the
I
one,
think I played it for 20 minutes at E3. It was really fun. This was really freaking fun. Like, I'm hyped for that game, dude. I'm very excited for that.
Like I said, dude, it looks like XCOM for kids, and that sounds about my level because XCOM's really hard. So
it is really hard.
Yeah. So it looks great. I think it looks awesome.
But yeah, I just kind of I mean, I figured that we would talk about those release dates and run over everything else. On a real level, though, I didn't. I guess the one other one, Undertale, just because I've heard so much about Undertale.
Yeah, Undertale's a short game.
Be able to play Undertale this year, which makes me happy.
It's pretty weird.
I'm really excited for it, dude.
But it's great. Like I think that game has a really cool soundtrack. I think
that's what I've heard. I've heard endless positives about the soundtrack and the story.
I might play that today or tomorrow.
How long is it? It's like 6 hours dude. Or something like that, maybe.
No, I don't even think it's that. Oh, it's pretty short.
Then they'll blast through it then.
Yeah, you can play it in a day, easy.
I'm excited to play it. I'll probably pre-order it, honestly. So
yeah, do it. It's great.
That's everything in August, which is way busier than it has any right being, but YOLO or whatever. I don't know, man. Games need to stop. I'm so locked into this. Oh, I must get all 26 endings of Nier, and then it's like, hey, guess what? We're gonna dump 8 other games on your head at the same time. It's like, oh my gosh, I haven't even played Persona 5 or
maybe I'll just get 24 endings of Nier.
Yeah, maybe just 24 or 25. We'll see how it goes.
Persona 5 is gonna be my thing where I want to play it so bad, dude, and I just don't think I can.
I don't know, man. I'm holding on to that one for Christmas, but at the same time, I look down the road. I'm like, what will I have by Christmas? Oh, Battlefront, which I guarantee you I will be pouring hours into, as well as I don't know. There's just too much, dude.
Like, I don't know. Like Call of Duty's the other one too, where like I always get it every year.
I'm excited for,
and
as well.
I want to play it, but that's another one. I'm like, do I not play it and get the 3 games that I really want on that one day? That's ridiculous.
I'll probably just rent it again, honestly. That's what I did with Infinite Warfare, and I was fine with that. Yeah. I like renting shooters like I did with Doom and just playing through it in a day. Because shooters more often than not are like 8 to 10 hours. And it's like, I can sit down and consume this in one sitting, unless it's like a Far Cry or something that's like 30.
Yeah.
Shooter campaigns, though, it's like, cool, I'm going to sit on my couch all day, not budge until I beat this game. And I do that. Then I'll probably do that with Call of Duty if I had to guess. But
yeah, Call of Duty is usually like 6 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah,
it's really not that bad.
We'll see when the time comes. Cool. That's all I had planned for 102, dude. That's all for this episode. Thank you for coming on. Like I said,
no problem, dude.
Last second.
Anytime. Sorry, there's an interruption. It was unexpected,
dude. I will not be forcing our listeners to hear that. They will not even know it skipped a beat there. Cool. But yeah, thanks for coming on, dude. I appreciate it. You always come on the last second, it seems like, when we need you, and I appreciate that. We will be back next week, of course. Max should be around, hopefully. Like I said, we might have a guest. We'll see what happens with that. We're figuring that out right now. But yeah, we'll be back next week. Until then, you can follow us on Twitter at MGS Podcast. You can follow myself on Twitter. I am at Moreman12. Michael is on the Twitters. He is over there at super_rooz. That is ROOZ. You can follow him on Twitter there. You can also follow all of our other podcasts that Michael and myself and Max and our friend, good buddy Mario Rivera do over at modelcitizensmedia.com. Listen to the Model Citizen show over there. Max is working on something for Beneath the Pixel. Sorry.
Yeah, Beneath the Pixel. Yeah. What's Behind the Pixel? I've never even heard
of it.
I
don't know what that is. It's Beneath the Pixel. And then Michael and I are bringing back Reeling in the Years this week because it's almost been 2 months.
Yeah.
So we'll be recording a new episode of that on Wednesday of this week, I guess the day this posts.
2000, right?
We're doing the year 2000.
Yeah.
Talking about some sad things that have happened in music this year. So maybe a downer episode about depression and other things. But we'll be doing that this week. That should post next week. Early on in the week. Besides that, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns for us moving forward with this show, please hit us up at mgspodcast@gmail.com. I have said it time and time again. since episode 100, but we are trying to get way more involvement with this show moving forward. If you have a question or something you want us to talk about on the podcast, please let us know and hit us up on Twitter or shoot us the full-length question that is longer than 140 characters to mgspodcast@gmail.com. We would appreciate that so much so that we can talk about whatever it is you want to hear on this here fine podcast. You can also find our show. It is on YouTube. We post it there still. No live recordings anymore, like you should be familiar with now, but we still have it on YouTube. We also post it on all kinds of podcast services like Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. And if you listen via iTunes, if you could just take a moment to give us a 5-star review, that would be phenomenal. Helps us get in more people's ears and helps the show grow and helps us to quit our day jobs or something. I don't really know. That's never going to happen.
That probably won't happen.
But maybe if you leave a review, it could, though. And then we could just podcast every day because, you need to hear from us once a day. Or you don't need to do that. But still, a review would be nice, and I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I think that is everything. That wraps us up for episode number 102. A little bit shorter this week, but also not really shorter. But just news this week. We will be back next week with a more normal-ish show for you, and we will see if we have a guest here or not, and if not, it might be the following week. Michael, thank you again for coming on. Appreciate it, dude.
No problem. Anytime.
And we will be back next week. Until then, have a good week. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.